If you've been told the brain can rewire itself, but no one really explained what that means, this video is going to make it finally click. Because neuroplasticity is one of the most powerful concepts in stroke recovery, and also one of the most misunderstood. A lot of people hear that word and think it means my brain will just heal over time, but that's not exactly how it works. And if you don't understand what's really happening, you can end up doing a lot of effort without getting the results that you want. So in this video, I'm going to break down how neuroplasticity actually works in a simple, practical way, and more importantly, show you how you can use it to improve your recovery. So let's start with the basics. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change. That's it. Your brain is not fixed. It's not stuck the way it is after a stroke. It's constantly adapting based on what you do. Every movement you repeat, every habit you reinforce, every time you practice something, you are literally shaping your brain. Now here's what most people get wrong. They think recovery is about getting the damaged part of your brain to come back. But in reality, recovery is about your brain finding a new way to do things. After a stroke, some pathways in the brain are damaged. Those pathways used to control things like walking, balance, arm movement, hand function. When those pathways are disrupted, your brain has to adapt. And this is where neuroplasticity comes in. Your brain starts trying to reroute the signal. Think of it like a road system. If a major highway is shut down, the traffic doesn't just stop forever. Cars start finding side streets, alternate routes, different ways to get to the same destination. It might not be as smooth at first, it might be slower, but over time those new routes can become stronger and more efficient. That's exactly what your brain is doing. It's building new roads to replace the ones that were damaged. But here's the key point most people miss. Those new pathways don't just appear automatically. They are built through repetition. Your brain changes based on what you do consistently. So if you practice a movement the right way, you strengthen the correct pathway. If you practice a movement the wrong way, you strengthen the wrong pathway. And this is where things can go off track. Let's use walking as an example. After a stroke, many people develop a limp. And what they'll often do is just try to walk more and more or faster, hoping it improves. But if every step they take reinforces a poor weight shift, compensation, uneven movement, then they're actually wiring their brain to get better at the limp, not better at walking correctly. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. Because neuroplasticity doesn't care if the pattern is good or bad. It just strengthens whatever you repeat. So the goal is not just more movement, it's better movement. Now let's go to a level deeper. There are a few key principles of neuroplasticity that you need to understand. The first one is use it or lose it. If you don't use a part of your body, your brain starts to forget how to use it. That's why it's so important to keep engaging the affected side, even if it's weak, even if it's frustrating, because if you avoid it completely, you're reinforcing the idea that it's not needed. The second principle is use it and improve it. The more you use a movement, the more your brain strengthens that connection. This is why repetition matters so much, but not just mindless repetition, focused repetition. The third principle is specificity. Your brain changes specifically based on what you practice. So if your goal is to improve walking, you need to practice the components of walking: balance, weight shifting, control, not just random exercises that don't carry over. The fourth principle is intensity matters. Your brain responds more when it's challenged. If something is too easy, you're not really pushing your brain to adapt. But if something is slightly difficult, where you have to focus, where it takes effort, that's where change happens. And the fifth principle is repetition over time. Neuroplasticity doesn't happen overnight. It's built through consistent practice, day after day, week after week. Now, I want to address something really important. A lot of people think there's a limited window for recovery. They've been told you'll only recover for 3 months, or for 6 months, or a year, and after that it stops. That's not accurate. Neuroplasticity doesn't just shut off at a random arbitrary time point. Your brain can continue to change for years. The difference is early on the brain is more sensitive to change, but later on it just requires more intentional effort, more repetition, more focus, more consistency. I've worked with people years after a stroke who still made meaningful improvements. A lot of times people just stop therapy and they never get back to seeing those results, or they never see those results moving forward. Because once they understand how to train their brain properly, things start to really change. Now let's talk about what actually drives neuroplasticity. Because if it's not just movement alone, it's attention. When you're going through the motions without thinking, your brain doesn't get the same level of input. But when you're focused, when you're paying attention to what you're doing, that's when your brain really starts to adapt. So instead of just doing reps, you want to be aware of things like where's your weight when you're moving around, how your foot is contacting the ground, what your posture looks like. That awareness is huge. Another big driver is feedback. Your brain needs information to adjust. That can come from a therapist, a mirror, video recordings, even just your own internal awareness. The more feedback you have, the faster you can refine those movements. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. Rest is part of neuroplasticity. A lot of people think more is always better, but your brain actually needs time to process and solidify what you practiced. So if you're constantly pushing without recovery, you can actually limit your progress. There's a balance between practice and recovery. Both matter. Now, I want to give you a simple way to think about all of this. Neuroplasticity is not magic. It's training. You are training your brain, just like you would train a muscle. If you go to the gym and do the same exercise the wrong way every day, you'll get stronger at doing it wrong, though. But if you practice with good form, stay consistent, and gradually challenge yourself, you improve. The brain works the exact same way. So instead of asking, is my brain healing? A better question is, what am I training my brain to do? Because that's what determines your progress. Now, let's bring this back to you. If you're in recovery right now, here are a few practical takeaways. Focus on quality over quantity. More reps isn't always better. Better reps are better. Make sure you're slowing things down. When you move slower, you have more control and more awareness. Challenge yourself. Don't stay in your comfort zone, but also don't go so hard that everything falls apart. Stay consistent. Small improvements add up over time. And finally, be patient. Neuroplasticity takes time, but it works if you work at it the right way. And that's the difference, because a lot of people are putting in effort, but they really aren't seeing the results that they want to see. Not because they can improve, but because they're not training their brain in the right way. If you can shift that, then that's when things really start to change. If you found this helpful in any way, make sure to subscribe for more videos breaking down stroke recovery in a simple, practical way. And if you want help applying this to your specific situation, check out the link in my description where we discuss our remote coaching program. I'll see you in the next video.